You are now tuned into Flippin the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 121 of Flippin the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron alongside Morgan Burkett, and we're finally back off our little hiatus, back with little throwback. Morgan and I spent a lot of restless hours working on the new Flippin the Birds theme, as well as logo. So we hope you guys appreciate it. We did a little throwback to vintage Eagles, brought a little Kelly Green with the wing in it, and this is here to stay now. Because last logo had Morgan's face, my face, and Chris's face, and then it got complicated because we had so many special guests on. So we figured we'd keep it very neutral. What do you think?
I mean, Kelly Green, you can't beat it. I like, we're not getting the jerseys this year, but we're hoping, the Flippin the Birds gives you a little bit of a taste of what's to come. Kelly Green's coming back, and so is Flippin the Birds. Little reintroduction. Yeah, man, I was getting tired of redoing the logo every time.
How many
just
hours
makes
did we spend on that? Because we spent like a couple of nights back to back, and then we disappeared for a while, and then came back to it. And I think we just pulled this last logo off for 2 weeks ago, maybe a week.
Yeah, I feel like we had it percolating for a bit. We were going back and forth, but yeah, I'm happy with it, man. Love the color. I don't know. We were talking about just makes the skin pop a bit. I feel like I look good. The face. It's just good.
If you look good, you feel good. Everything's good. You can't complain.
Yeah, with the white background, I was just blending in. I think so. The green's a little bit better.
I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
But anyways, speaking of comeback, speaking of looking good, feeling good, the Eagles made their first big splash of the free agency period, the tampering period to be exact. We signed Hassan Reddick to a 3-year, $30 million contract?
49, but
49,
incentives with incentives. So I think it's 30 million base.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Zay Jones contract, so I think that's what kind of confused me.
So many contracts today.
Yes, especially with baseball too.
Gotcha.
Hassan Reddick, man, I mean, this is the weapon, in my opinion, that we've needed for a long time. This is the weapon that Jonathan Gannon needs to kind of, I feel like, right the ship with his defense because, one, he's 27 years old. He's still got a young kid. He's still got youth. Two, he's putting together about 23 sacks over the last 3 seasons. He's shown that he's very, very effective when passing the rush. But he can also drop back and disrupt throwing lanes, which is, huge. We couldn't get that out of TJ Edwards. We couldn't get that out of Alex Singleton. We couldn't get that out of Davion Taylor, Nate Gary back in the day. We're finally moving in the right direction, it seems. And defense is more so your preference. You love talking about defense. So why Hassan Reddick and why does it make all the sense in the world for Philly to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think immediately what I thought when they picked him up is, I was just kind of thinking about how he's going to be used. But I think that's kind of the point, right? The point is that he's so versatile about how he can rush the passer, whether he's standing up. He's probably a 3-4 outside linebacker more so than a 4-3 edge, but I think that's kind of the point, and I think that we're going to see more 3-4 looks, more change. We saw, for better or for worse, Derek Barnett going back into coverage. We saw even Fletcher Cox, chasing down screens and stuff like that. But I think that is what Jonathan Gannon wants to do, and Hassan Reddick really provides that, question mark for the offense. It's like you can keep them guessing with what he does. I don't know that you're really going to want him playing coverage that often, but, it's something that he can do, right? It's, if you need him to cover the flats, on shorter yardage passing situations, it might be something you could do. It's little wrinkles. And I think that that's kind of what we saw last year, and I don't know if it really made sense for the whole season. But someone like Gennard Avery, we weren't really sure what he was supposed to be. Even when they brought him in, it was a bit of a head scratching move. He had some upside, but he's just a wrinkle player, right? It's like when he lines up over the A gap and he's blitzing, it causes the offense to go, oh shit, we got to deal with that, right? So I think Hassan Reddick on his best days is a dominant pass rusher, but he adds some value in just making the defense multiple, which is what I really think Jonathan Gannon wants to do. In terms of skill set, I mean, speed rushers have dominated for the Eagles, and again, I don't think that it's going to be, he's going to come in here and have a career-setting sack number. Like I don't know if that's going to happen, but I just think we're going to see, similar to Brandon Graham, just like how much he can contribute. It may not be as much in the stats column, but he's just going to be one of those guys that's in on every play, can do a bit of everything. Like I think it's just a great addition.
So my comparison to what Hassan Reddick is going to do for the Eagles is kind of similar to what Michael Parsons did for Cowboys. And correct me if I'm wrong. He lined up on the edge a lot, but he also was, almost available on every down. And I think having a weapon like Reddick, having a Swiss Army knife like that behind, Fletcher Cox, behind Javon Hargrave, behind Brandon Graham, behind Josh Sweat, it adds such a huge wrinkle to this defense where it's kind of like, okay, you actually have somebody in the second level of the defense that could stop the run, or that could come in and blitz and get past the offensive line, free up a Brandon Graham, free up a Fletcher Cox, whatever the case may be, and be effective. Because the Eagles were one of the worst, defensive lines to have sacks last season, and that's not something that's something that Philadelphia is known for. We're known for having, we're building in the trenches. We're known for having, superior defensive line, and that's something we are really lacking in. I mean, Fletcher Cox is on the decline. Let's be honest. Javon Hargrave kind of fell off towards the end of the season. Graham was injured. Derek Barnett is probably
gone.
He definitely has to be gone. There's no way to bring him back. And Josh Sweat is, they used him very limitedly. So,
Yeah, I like the comparison. I think that it's really hard to compare someone with Michael Parsons. He just does everything. Like I don't think you're going to see as many middle linebacker looks or anything like that. But I really like the comparison in the sense that when he's standing there, and who knows if they're going to play him at defensive end or outside linebacker. Like I think that's the whole point, is that he's going to play multiple positions on this defense. But I think, again, like what I was talking about, and similar to your comparison, is you just don't know what he's going to do. He's capable of a lot of things. So I really like that. I think we saw a couple looks too where Jonathan Gannon really wanted to blitz middle linebackers and be creative with his blitzes, and just really couldn't, because for everyone that you blitz, you need to figure out, how you're going to cover that pocket that they're vacating. And that's when we saw the weird stuff, right? Like Derek Barnett covering the flats and Fletcher Cox dropping off. And I really think now he has that piece. So I think that, one, it's a really good player, but two, I think it gives kind of an insight of what Jonathan Gannon wants to do on defense, and really what Howie Roseman's willing to do to facilitate that. So I think this is it's a great move to show too that they're buying into what Jonathan Gannon's doing. Clearly by the amount of interviews he got, there's something there that's worth holding on to, that they wanted to keep him in house, and other teams are interested. So yeah, I mean, for a first move, I don't know anyone. I know the Jets kind of went crazy at the beginning, and the Jags added a bunch of people, but in terms of one player, I don't I think that's probably one of the bigger impact signings so far in free agency.
I completely agree with that.
Who knows what DJ Chark's going to do in Detroit? Maybe a huge fantasy guy, but I think this is a play that makes you a much better defense just right off the bat.
So defense was a priority for a lot of fans. It's a priority for a lot of media members as well. We had to get Jonathan Gannon weapons. Nick Sirianni has his, but Nick Sirianni is not fully equipped with the weapons needed.
Right.
We do have a question in the chat. Before we get to that question, though, because it's probably going to correlate. What's the next move for Philly? Because you saw this wide receiver market completely reset. You saw that they were in on the contract negotiations with Marcus Williams, but they fell a little short of the Ravens offer. and Justin Reed is gone.
Yeah.
What was it? Whitehead signed with the Jets,
Hmm.
which leaves Marcus May,
Yeah.
Tyrann Mathieu, and non really notable others. But the wide receiver side, we have Juju out there. You have Allen
Hmm.
Robinson. Apparently,
Hmm.
the Eagles are not interested in Juju for whatever that's worth, as reported by Jimmy Kempski. Nobody's heard a peep out of Allen Robinson, even though I feel like he's going to be connected to Deshaun Watson, and I'm so irritated with this conversation with Deshaun Watson, which is weird because a lot of people feel like I'm a Hurts hater on Twitter. But when I talk to you, and when I've
Hmm.
spoken to you for the past year and a half, you've seen how much I want
Yeah,
Hurts to be
I
that
think
next
you're a
guy.
realist. I think you're a
Yeah,
realist, right? Like I think that you see his limitations, and I don't know. That's just how it is with Eagles media, right? Is you're one or the
so
other.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're used to it by now, but that's just the way it goes.
It's just a little irritating. I have this one girl that was just completely like harassing me about it for some reason. Even though I put
Hmm.
a Hurts article out
Probably
complimenting
just got a
him.
crush.
I
Probably
don't
just got a
know.
crush or
It
something.
was a little
Who
odd.
knows?
But here's the question in the chat from Donnie6765.
Mhm.
Think they are just going to draft wide receiver in the first and safety in the second round, or try to get Honey Badger? Um, I weirdly think Honey Badger is in the mix, but I'm not willing to bet a dollar on it.
Yeah.
um, I think that they'll look for it, but same thing, same time. Howie said something last season, maybe last off season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he wanted players that didn't have so much injury history. He wanted the young legs. He wanted players who were consistent enough.
Mhm.
Hassan Reddick hasn't been injured for the past 3 or 4 seasons.
Right.
Tyrann Mathieu has been up and down with injuries, which is huge. Um, so what do what is your feelings about this? And I'll say mine after you spill your beans.
Yeah, obviously it's a really exciting possibility. Like, Marcus May, I think he'd be a good addition, but they're just different caliber players. And then I think we're going to get into the draft a bit more
Mm-hmm.
later, so I won't necessarily touch on that, but um I just think it's a move if you're gonna go for Tyrann Mathieu. I think it's a move that isn't the first move. Like I think that if you're grabbing him, then maybe that means Fletcher Cox gets dealt. Maybe that means you're clearing some you're moving some cap space around. Like I don't really think they have many like flexible contracts at this point. How he's pretty much pushed all the contracts he can to the future.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, they still have to make room for Jason Kelsey's contract.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of variables where it's just like taking on a contract like that with the team you have. I think that it means you have to make other moves first. And I think that Fletcher Cox being traded is a much more real possibility than a lot of people are willing to consider. You brought in Javon Hargrave last year. There's a lot of good defensive tackles in the first round. You have Milton Williams. Maybe that's a trade. You go, okay, listen, Jonathan Gannon doesn't want to build this team through the defensive line like we have
Mm-hmm.
over the last, decade. He wants to build it from the back end, and getting a safety like Matthew, like that just changes the face of your defense. So it would be great. Do I see it happening? Not unless there's other moves made first, I think.
So, and shout out to Marquise, who's a regular on our show. Said Inside the Birds said Juju increased his asking price, so he backed off. It's messed up. The whole market is completely screwed up right now
Yeah.
because apparently Doug
Christian Kirk.
Peterson wanted to outpay the Eagles and sign Christian Kirk to this lucrative deal that he's not worth. So it's everything screwed up. But if you're willing to pay Marcus Williams that kind of money, where you just fell short of the Ravens offer, it's telling me that you're willing to really spend like play ball this offseason. And if I'm Eagles, I spend that money on a Marcus May. I spend that money on a Tyrann Mathieu, preferably over Marcus May. But if you're not fully sold on that, I mean, you have options in the draft at both positions, which is great. But if you're going to spend that kind of money, you throw it to Allen Robinson. I get it. I have a gut feeling he's waiting for Deshaun Watson to make his move. But you spend that money on Allen Robinson, and you have that big body receiver that is necessary for Jalen Hurts. If Jalen Hurts is going to progress, we need that big body guy because we have Devontae Smith, who has the speed and who has great hands. We have Quez Watkins, who has the speed. We may have Jalen Rager, who's Jalen Rager. But you need that dynamic receiver that it's a balls up, like 2 feet above his head. He could go up there and make the catch. You need a DK Metcalf. You need an Allen Robinson.
Right.
Those kind of players, like Mike Williams. But you touched on a very very interesting subject that I've been very curious about talking about because a lot of people are very against this.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to move on from Fletcher Cox. He's been declining for the past couple of seasons. I get he's a lifelong Eagle. I understand that, but his contract is he's not living up to his contract at this point. You saw Javon Hargrave really come out. You saw Josh Sweat really come out last season. Fletcher Cox hasn't been that dynamic guy that we want him to be. We've been defending him, saying like, "Hey, you've been getting double teamed," but hey, Javon Hargrave was getting double teamed last season as well, and he was making things happen. So at this point, I did a weird Madden Eagles prediction,
Right.
and I got a little creative with it, and I moved Fletcher Cox to Seattle in exchange for DK Metcalf, but obviously I had to give up a 5th-round pick, and I think it was a 2nd-round pick for DK in exchange for like a 4th. But what do you feel like is Fletcher's worth at this point?
I think if I'm the Eagles and I'm looking at moving on from Fletch, I think it's picks that I'm after. I don't think you're going to trade him for a player at this point. I just think that, if you are, you're essentially, unless you're getting a young player, it's going to be more like a basketball contract where you're kind of seeing like a salary match situation where it's like, if you're trading away a player like that, you're going to get a player who's, paid in the same range. And I think that the whole point of moving on from Fletch is to give you a bit of flexibility in the future. I'm pretty sure they still take on like a pretty significant cap hit if they trade him.
It's like 40 mil, I think, that money.
Yeah. His cap hit for this is 14. So, the dead cap if they traded him is like, you might as well keep him at that point. But, teams are willing to take that on if the trade is worth it. But that means probably you're not getting a player from it. You're getting picks. If you can get a 1st round for Fletch, like I'd take that. I know it seems like he's worth more, but the defensive tackle position is not the same value that, everyone wants offensive players. Like you can get a stupid amount of picks for a receiver that you really should be able to get for a defensive tackle and you just can't anymore. So I think, you move on from him, you get, you're looking at what you get in return and some of it's not going to be from the other team. Some of it's just going to be in-house, and that's cap flexibility. You're trying to build a new team. You're trying to move into the new age. And I think what's probably likely is you're looking at trading him to, a contender or like a playoff team. And those teams are much more willing to part with their picks. Like, hey man, like the Rams have thrown picks at people for less, right? Like 1st-round picks, like, here Rams are willing to throw 1st-round picks. So, they just won a Super Bowl. So to compete with them, it's going to be a similar type deal where, you're getting a contender wants to beat the Rams. They see how the Rams built their team, kind of mortgaging and hemorrhaging picks. And I think you get a deal like that. And I think if you get a deal like that, and then you can go spend that money somewhere else and get a top tier safety, a top tier receiver, like that's going to make your team better. And it's no indictment on Fletch. Like I think you make good points, right? There's some regression there. But does he make your team better? Absolutely. Like having Fletch on the team absolutely makes the Eagles better. It's not about that. But you have people that can fill that gap. Do you take a decline in production? Probably. Or Javon Hargrave has a fantastic season as the number 1 guy. And then Milton Williams takes that step. And then all of a sudden, like, I just feel like it's again, like
Jordan Davis.
Exactly. Right. So like, I think, you're looking at the draft and again, we're going to get into it, but, you're looking what's available. And, defensive tackle is one of those things that's available in the draft. And, one of those positions that, you already have like a stud in-house and a very promising up and comer. You feel okay just adding a 3rd body to that. And if it's a 1st-round pick, if it's a a free agent. Like we talked to Ren last week. Like they're really good at finding these guys that can be impact players in the rotation. So if you're comfortable with those top two guys, Milton Williams and Javon Hargrave, then you get what you can, because who knows what his value is going to be next year, right?
Exactly. I mean, do you want to get to a point where you're trading Fletcher Cox for peanuts? That's how you have to think at this point. Like, it's a business move, it's not a personal. Nothing personal. I mean, Fletcher has been a very dominant player for the Eagles for a long time, but you got to look at it both ends. Like, Fletcher wants to probably win. The Eagles need this cap space whatever they get in 2023, because they're not gonna have any cap space this year if they move them. And they also need the picks. They need compensation. They need that more than anything in the world. They need to build this team up. And Marquise right here saying, first round, bring me N'Kobe Dean, Traylon Burks, Trent McDuffie. But it's at a point where, hey, like if let's look at it. Let's be honest. 75% of Eagles Twitter doesn't believe Jalen Hurts can do anything next year. They don't think he can win. Understandable. The other 25% believes that Jalen Hurts is the second coming of Donovan McNabb.
Right.
But which is also understandable. I get it. It's you being a fanatic. But if that's the case, where majority of the fan base doesn't believe in Jalen Hurts, and we've seen the front office say, "Hey, yeah, he's our guy," but they put in bids for Russell Wilson. They put in bids for Deshaun Watson. They're being smart about their money. If they're being smart about their money, they're also looking a way to move Fletch, give Javon Hargrave the spotlight, give Milton Williams a spotlight, let these young guys flourish. You have a veteran now in Brandon Graham, who's coming back. You have a veteran in Haason Reddick, who's just joining the team. You got a veteran safety, and it's like you have enough voices on this defense where it's not going to miss so much of a void from Fletcher Cox.
One, and he's just gonna walk again. Like if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm not picking up the phone, calling teams saying, "Hey, take Fletcher Cox off our hand." It's nothing like that. But if you get someone that's just calling like, "Hey, how much is he worth?" and you're like, "Okay, well, it's gonna take a couple firsts, maybe not 2 next year, but one in the future, or first and a second and stuff like that," and then you can take some of that dead cap in the future. Like again, he might just walk next year. Like 2023, his contract's up. He might just walk.
You really want to lose him for nothing? I mean, that's
again. It kind of feels like a basketball situation, right? Where like you have a guy and you kind of leverage that. The other thing too is like, I think he wants to be here. Don't get me wrong, but the fit in the defense is gonna worsen as he gets older, right? Like this, they're asking a lot of their defensive lines. They're asking them to be more athletic, to two gap a bit more, to take on more responsibility. I think Fletch wants to be in a team where he can just go at the quarterback, and that's where he excels. Again, I'm not trying to get him out of Philly and by any way, shape, or form.
No, not at all. It's just you got to look at it as a business thing. I mean, you're gonna 100%. Keep an employee that's 65 years old and not producing for you. And it's not a knock on Fletch at all, because he's been phenomenal. But at the same time, like, you got to be smart with this roster, especially if you're in rebuilding years or retooling years, whatever they want to call it.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's something, even as the season went on, even before the season, actually, we talked about kind of finding what the message to fans and what the message to the team was. Is like, are we rebuilding? Are we not? Last year, we kind of saw what that caused in the locker room. It's like a lot of these players thought, we were still competing and we're still in win now mode. And then that didn't really happen. And then all of a sudden we're in the playoffs, and it's like, a feel good Cinderella story. And say, okay, well, this is a team that thought they were going to compete at the beginning. So, it's just about finding that message. And I think if the message is you're rebuilding, then, you got to start looking at ways to get more picks. And I don't know, I think, that's the perfect kind of segue into talking a bit more about the draft. But, if maybe this is a situation where you use one of those picks and you want to move up for someone, well, you got pretty good opportunity to package a pick and then a player and get up into that top 10 area, right? So that's another option.
Which it seemed like I forgot what with the Hassan Reddick signing, a lot of people feel like as if the Eagles, and sorry if I'm looking this way, I'm looking at my phone because it's still tampering period. So at some point, I don't want to miss any breaking news, because it is Morgan and I on this podcast today. with Hassan Reddick signing, you get the feeling that, hey, maybe the Eagles are comfortable enough to sit and wait for best player available.
Right.
I would love for them to trade into top 10. You go after Kyle Hamilton, you go for Ahmad Garner, you go for Derek Stingley, one of those three. But it's just you get the feeling that they're gonna play this safe more than they're gonna play this play the risk. They're gonna go for a wideout in the first round. I have no doubt about it at this point. They're gonna go for a cornerback for sure or a safety, and it looks like it's a toss up between linebacker and defensive end now. A lot of rumors about forgive me if I said this wrong. Ojabo.
Right, David Ojabo.
Yeah, a lot of rumors about him, but at the same time, they were blowing smoke about Kwity Paye for the Eagles last season.
Jermaine Johnson's another name you saw a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't necessarily agree with the first round receiver assessment. Not so much that it wouldn't be a good move. It's more about what's available in this draft. And like, this is a draft where the top end talent of receiver is pretty obvious, pretty evident, but it's a really deep class of receivers. You're talking about a guy like, my favorite Eric Izukanma. That's always a tough one for me to pronounce, and not just because it's a hard name to pronounce. Yeah, it's just tough. Anyway, but he's a 6th round, 5th round. He's a day 3 receiver in this draft, and there's some other drafts that he might be in. Even round 3, round 2 consideration. It's just the amount of depth in this draft. He didn't run a 40, and we don't know exactly how fast he is, but just like a physical specimen, a guy that can do a lot. And even you talk about a guy like Christian Watson. He's probably a 2nd round pick in this draft. There's other drafts that he could easily be, a top 15 kind of guy, right? That you just bet on the upside. He doesn't necessarily have the resume to show for it, but I think there's a couple positions where the 2nd round pick for the Eagles, if they could move up a bit, they'd get a lot of guys that would be really good. Like, it's been said in the chat, but again, Jalen Peter is one of my favorite prospects in this. Like, he's just has that edge, that grit you want. He's a smart dude. Baylor's defense has had an absolute renaissance, and he's been in the center of it. He does everything, right? Is he going to last until the Eagles have a pick in the 2nd round? Like, I just don't think so. I think he's one of those guys that gets taken early on day 2. And so, again, like, they're just in a weird situation. So I think the strategy of drafting best player available, it's a great idea, and that's the way they should go. But I even think about just moving around the draft into more favorable positions to do that. Like the range that they're in right now, like, that's why you see so many mock drafts that are all over the place, because it's like who's really the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th best player in this draft. We don't know. We don't even really know the top 5. We know probably the top 2 or 3. I think you're still going to see, like, it's kind of similar to last year where we didn't know that teams were going to, fly up the boards for quarterbacks or not, or, whatever it was. After Trevor Lawrence, we weren't sure. It's similar. I feel like this year there's going to be some teams that want a quarterback. So maybe you do get someone that, like Kyle Hamilton, that falls and to the late, 10s. And like, if you can move up, you trade one of those 1st round picks to move up, and then maybe find a way to move up in the 2nd, something like that. Like, you're putting yourself in a very favorable position.
Okay. So
I don't know really what question I was responding to, but I was just talking draft. I'm just amped every time Eagles draft gets brought up.
Well, so we have a question from Donnie again.
Yeah.
If you had a chance at this point, would you go cornerback or defensive end in the 1st? It's kind of piggyback off what you just said. It depends who's available at this point. Do you trade up if Derek Stingley falls to 11? Do you trade up if Ahmad Garner falls to 10? Kyle Hamilton, I know he's not a cornerback, but he's at a position of need in the secondary.
Right.
I prefer if they go cornerback, but it all depends who's available. I know Trent McDuffie has been heavily mocked to the Eagles recently. I would love Sauce Gardner because he has the swagger that's necessary to be a part of this defense. But it's Howie. They'll go defensive end if the right guy's available at that point. I wouldn't be surprised if they go defensive end, wide receiver, wait, and possibly take a corner or linebacker in the 3rd pick.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a situation you find yourself in where you have to make that decision. You have so many picks kind of clumped. So I think if Trent McDuffie's there, he's going to be there for your picks. Like I don't think that one pick in between your other picks is going to be that guy. So, but positionally, I think the Eagles are more in tune with getting a free agent cornerback. Like they've already been linked to Xavier Rhodes. They brought in Steven Nelson last year. They've kind of been we talk about. And I think it's still in Howie's brain is, bring in Patrick Robinson to play the slot. And, all of a sudden he has a renaissance and is, one of the best slot corners in the league. Like, I think that Howie still thinks that he can just find that free agent. Steven Nelson was okay. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if that's the solution going forward, but I think if you're in that 15 range, just looking at the corners that are available, I think that they're going to be there. And I think there's some in the second. I don't know, Kobe Bryant, it might be available, and that there's again, I haven't done as much research on corners as I've done on other positions, just because I think that they're going to address that position in free agency. But I just think there's a lot of ways to go. I think with defensive end, you have those David Ajawas, you have those Jermaine Johnsons that I don't think that kind of talent's waiting for you in the second round. So I think, and I don't think that after bringing in Hassan Reddick, that they want to go get another free agent. So I think that that's more value and more bang for your buck if you get a young guy that can develop, that eventually you slot in beside one of, really he's taking over for Brandon Graham, right? So, you brought in a veteran guy that didn't rush off the edge, a free agent that's still young, that can still grow. You have Josh Sweat in house. I think you still need that guy to replace Brandon Graham. And I really don't think, unless you're moving up, the top two corners are falling. Like, there's no chance you get Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner where they are.
We have about 21 people in chat. 20 people.
Dope.
Don't know if it's more heavy towards Twitter or YouTube. So if you guys are on YouTube, let's play a little game, right? Let's get a little creative. Why not? We're at the 30-minute mark, and we spoke about free agency. At the end of the podcast, we'll talk about who our expectation is for the Eagles to sign in free agency. Maybe our two picks. But right now, I got Draft Network's mock draft available on my phone right now. So why don't we see who's available that drops to 15? We'll do a little poll in the chat and see who wants what, and we'll go from there. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
All right, cool. So let's see.
You can share on your screen?
I can't because I'm on my iPad today. I wish I could. That would be so much.
Do I have permissions?
Go ahead. Put it through.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I have permission. How do I do that? Oh, share. Okay, yeah. All right. So we're going to the Draft Network?
Yeah, draftnetwork.com.
Yeah.
All right. So if everybody's in the YouTube chat right now, if you're on Twitter,
I pay for this service, and I don't think I use it enough.
Oh, log in. Let's get a little creative. If you're on Twitter right now, we can't see your comments because there's a weird thing with StreamYard with that. So segue to YouTube, to Philly Sports Network's YouTube channel, which it should be in the link on my Twitter page. I tweeted out the link earlier, as well as the Flippin the Birds tweet.
I'm just going to put it on my second screen so I can.
And if you guys,
we're getting real technical. Look at us.
Why not?
Stepping it up for the new season. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. First episode back. New logo, new colors. These colors are staying. This logo is staying.
All right. How many rounds do you want to do? Two?
Let's do 2 rounds. Well,
2 rounds.
Yeah, let's do 2 rounds.
Well, we only have the one pick in the second round. It's kind of late, but why not?
Okay.
Okay. So start draft and then share.
Okay, let's see.
Share screen.
Now, if you guys are in the YouTube chat, definitely chime in on this. We'll see. We'll show you guys who's available. As little kids screaming outside. Let me put this on the stream. Let's go.
All right.
There we go. Nice. All right, guys. So if you're in YouTube chat, again, chime in at any point. We'll say who the players are that are available. If you're listening to this the day after, I hope you guys have fun listening to this because it might get a little hectic. So where are we at right now?
All right.
Trade offer.
We got a trade offer.
Go ahead, read it out because I have bad vision
on
this right now.
So we got we can trade our 15th for the 30th pick and a second round pick at 62. So late in both rounds. We can counter offer. I don't think I've ever done this. Oh, damn, we got a couple trade offers. Okay, so we can trade for a first and a third from the Raiders, move down to 22. We can do the 30th pick and get a second, or we can trade to the Saints, get the 18th, and get a fourth.
All right. So if you're in the chat, do you guys want to trade a 15th pick, or should we go ahead and see who's available for selection? Don't disappear on me now, Donnie, Alex, Marquise, Sean, whoever's out there. Let's hear it.
Oh man,
I feel like they disappeared on me.
yeah.
But we have more people in the chat now. There's no wrong answer for this. All right, so I guess.
Well, okay. Let's just talk. Say.
All right.
Okay,
Well, so we got
see
two.
who's available.
Yeah,
all
there
right.
we go. Shout out to our gravy.
I don't know if I can close this.
And
so
Alex.
I know that both the defensive ends we were talking about, David Ajabo's available, Jermaine Johnson's available. I think if I close this, the offers goes. I know, but I think if I close this, they go away.
Yeah, we're sticking with 15. Go ahead, close it.
All right.
We have 4 votes to see who's available.
Oh, right, so Jermaine Johnson and David Ajabo just got traded. All right, so we got Trevor Penning, mean, nasty tackle, played at a lower level, but we got Malik Willis. I assume that's everyone. That's who everyone was trading up for. We got Garrett Wilson, we got Jordan Davis, Kenny Pickett, Tyler Linderbaum, a favorite, Drake London, George Karlaftis, Treylon Burks, Perry and Winfrey. We got a lot of options. We got Nakobe Dean, so we got both linebackers.
Who do we have go up? So no corners.
I think no corners. So I mean, you can reach for a corner here. We got Kyer Elam.
Our gravy is saying that screen went black. We can't see anything. Can anybody else not see anything? Because everybody else is saying Jordan Davis and Burks. We have Dean, Burks. So we have 2 for Burks. We have 2 for Davis. 1 for Dean. Let's go.
What are you thinking?
One more.
I'm thinking the chat's right. I think if Jordan Davis is sitting there at 15, you take Jordan Davis.
You take Jordan Davis.
I think he's the best player available in this case, unless you really love Tyler Linderbaum, and then you go with him. But I think the Tyler Linderbaum, you got 2 picks in a row, you can take both if you really wanted to.
I have another pick in mind for the 5th to 16.
Drake London or Treylon Burks?
I was thinking Garrett Wilson.
Oh,
Drake
yeah?
London is a big body.
All right. Okay, so, we can get both. We got 2 picks in a row. So,
all right. So, Jordan Davis is our first pick. Is everybody in agreement with that?
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's see. Go ahead.
Oh, no one wants to trade again?
No. Oh, so we're at 16.
I thought we were going to get more trade offers.
No.
Okay.
Forget that. All right, so Garrett Wilson, Tyler Linderbaum, Drake London, Treylon Burks, and we have Nakobe Dean and Devin Lloyd at the bottom, if I'm not mistaken, right? If you keep scrolling.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So, do you go wide out?
Are you a Nakobe Dean guy or a Devin Lloyd guy?
I am. I'm a Nakobe Dean guy, but I feel like Devin Lloyd might be the better pick.
I think he fits. I think he fits the Eagles better. I mean, you have Chris Olave too. We're a quarterback factory, right? So do we just go with Malik Willis, and trade him?
No, and that's a huge. That would be a huge thing if Malik Willis actually falls, because at this range, Eagles are going to get a lot of trade offers, and Howie's not going to say no to these trade offers.
But I think in reality, if we got those trade offers in the first round, Howie would have traded that for sure.
Absolutely.
That's what I think. For sure.
So, in the chat, are we going with wide receiver? Or are we going with linebacker? We are selecting again at 19. The likelihood of Nakobe Dean and Devin Lloyd, I'm sorry, Chris Lloyd, and Devin Lloyd being selected back to back by the Chargers and Saints is very, very slim. But the possibility of losing Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, and Drake London is also a possibility, even though only one of those 3 receivers will be probably on.
We could also trade back.
We could, but I don't want to trade.
We'll throw that option. We'll throw that option out there. If we get a lot of people that want to trade back.
Okay. So all right, guys. So
my thought process too is Tyler Linderbaum. I feel like if he's sticking around, he's one of these 2 picks. I don't think he's pick 16, but I think you got to scoop him if he's still there at 19.
Oh, I mean, you got to somebody saying trade back.
Yeah.
All right.
We're on the second pick, Alex.
Yeah, we're on the second pick, Alex. All right, guys.
Pick 16.
So who's your pick right now? Go ahead, fill out the chat.
No to Linderbaum. All right.
Oh wow. Okay.
See, if I'm making this pick, okay, so let's say if you're making this pick, who are you taking? You're taking Garrett Wilson, or are you taking Chris Olave?
I love Chris Olave more than anybody, but Drake London is a big body receiver that the Eagles need. But big body receivers it's a little risky, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But Garrett Wilson is so great.
Yeah, I want to see.
Are we able to trade back? And we are able to trade back. That I know.
Picks you are offering. Eagles. Choose our trade partner. We can't choose.
Nobody in the NFC?
I guess not.
Oh, no. Okay. So top is us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm thinking if we're moving, we want to move into the late first or early second. So this is a lot
I don't want to move though.
Chat.
I just want to all right, guys.
All right.
What are we doing? Somebody say it. Come on. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with
receiver.
The Drake London assessment. I feel like we should make this a fixture. All right, so we're staying put for this one. I feel like it's too. We should have taken the trade. It's a lot of options to give chat. Like, who do we want to trade with? But I agree. I think with Drake London, I think that he's obviously a massive dude. He'll make those plays for you in this offense. I don't know that he fits. My pick, I'm kind of torn because George Karlaftis is also there, and he's a dog. Like he's the guy that would come in for Brandon Graham, be a great pick. But I think my pick, if I'm picking, is Devin Lloyd. That's who I would take here.
All right, so you're going linebacker at 16. I think it's a safe bet to go linebacker at 16 because you're going to have one of the 3 wide receivers available at 19.
And we think Devin Lloyd's the better pick? That's what I think he fits better.
Yeah, I would go Lloyd.
All right, here it is. Boom.
All right, we got Devin Lloyd. So, 19. We got trade offers.
That's a crazy deal. I'm taking that, no question. Are you kidding me?
All right, so what's the pick?
You're getting a first and a fourth to move down 3 picks. That's crazy. Okay. Or we're getting a first, a second, and a third. I would take either of these, but we should take one of them.
Wait, let's see.
Okay,
if we take one of these offers, we're moving back.
I'll read them out for those people that for whatever reason can't see. So for the Raiders are offering pick 22, second round pick 53, and the 4th round pick 126 just to move to 19. Yeah, crazy. I don't know what. Okay, or the Bills, we go down to 25, get a second at 57, get a third at 89, and get a 5th at 168.
29 though. What's the Bills pick? 25.
25.
So if you move to 25, you're definitely losing to Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, or
Yeah, and I feel like if you grab the Raiders pick, you could even trade that again.
But why would you trade that again? You mean trade up?
No, trade back. Like if you trade back to 22, you could trade back again and get like a ton of picks.
All right, so the more realistic trade offer is probably the Raiders. There's no way the Bills are going to offer that amount of picks. So let's take the Raiders. Let's take the Raiders deal.
All right. Everyone cool? Yeah, take the Raiders deal. All right.
All right, let's see what's happening.
So they took Garrett Wilson. That's interesting. All right, see, that's what I'm saying. The Colts are offering a second and third. See, maybe we should have done more than one. Or can we move back to 32 with the Lions and get a third?
No. Let's make
I wish you could see. All right, I wish you could see like who's available before I decline, But okay, so obviously we got to take Kenny Pickett because he's the number 1 quarterback in the draft.
Chris Olave is available.
Chris Olave is still available. George Karlaftis is still available. Treylon Burks is still available. It's tough. Okay, so I feel like the question we got to pose to chat is wide receiver or not. Do we want to take the wide receiver? Or do we want to look at a different position?
I'm going wide receiver. I'll go for Chris Olave. Yeah.
Man, if Chris Olave is there 22, I think you got to take him.
I think, yeah. It's a no-brainer to me. You take Olave.
I think so, too. I think George Karlaftis is something to consider for sure. I think that, the Eagles want an edge rusher. If they really like him, then they might go with him.
Question in the chat, what cornerback is there?
Kyler Elam is the Kyler Gordon from Washington. Not a bad pick, but I think both second round guys. Early second round, or late first.
Troy says take Karlaftis. Screw the Cowboys again, but we need weapons, man. I mean, defensive end. I feel like you can get a good development guy in the second, third round. Offensively, a Chris Olave at 22 is, to me, it's a no-brainer. At least to me. I don't know how you feel about
I mean, we went defense. Like I think that I think it's closer. I think it's a close thing, but I think we went defense first 2 times. We could go with Olave. If anyone, I feel like if anyone has a huge problem with taking Olave, raise your concerns in the chat. But I think that Brian probably wins this one. I think, yeah. I think too. Yeah, Treylon Burks is a good point too. Like I don't know. I think that's a guy you got to manufacture touches for early. He's not really a fantastic route runner. More of a yak guy. All right, are we doing it? This is a stellar first round. If this
absolutely. It's a win, bro.
That would be the best draft in recent memory for the Eagles.
If the Eagles were able to pull this off, I'd go streaking. Right, honestly, the 22nd pick.
Yeah, It's still gonna be cold, but okay. Another trade offer. So
what pick are we at right now? 52.
53. We can move up in the second. I feel like you take this. There's so much talent on the board.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go for it. Pull the trigger. I like Alex says.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Christian Watson's in there. See, this is what I'm talking about. Is you can go first round receiver, but you can also get a guy like Christian Watson.
But you have Jalen Petre right there.
Yeah, that would be.
You have your guy. You take that pick. Unless you want to take Matt Corral for me.
Derek Warren's a nice corner.
Kenneth Walker's a good running back as well as Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah. I mean, Diego running back here. Sky Moore is a nice receiver. George Pickens. Like you still have second round receivers that are pretty good. Chad Muma. I don't know, whatever Muma.
I think you go. You definitely go defensive back. You definitely. I agree with Troy. You definitely go for Petre. Yeah,
I agree too. See, like look at all the receivers. Like I don't know. There's a ton of second round receivers,
but they're not Chris Olave. You can't. Like, I get Christian Watson is nice, but he's not Chris Olave in my opinion.
Yeah,
like you have a natural wide receiver that can actually do things.
I think you can make the argument that Christian Watson in the second would get me similarly excited, but I think the pick here is obviously John Peter. Like I don't see how it's not. I think he's borderline first round talent. So he just.
So did we pull the trigger on Petre?
Yeah, speak now or forever hold your peace. I think that's the end of our drafts. Unfortunately, I don't know if we have any more seconds. Oh, we could, we could do another one. But this is a cool little segment. We could do one of these a week, honestly.
Yeah, mostly why not?
All right,
Alex says take him.
Boom.
So we're looking at the first 4 picks in our mock draft, which is not ideal because this is a huge win for Philly, and this is not allowed to happen.
Matt Corral goes in the second to the Colts. That's pretty good.
That's a nice pick. So we went defensive line, we went linebacker, we went wide receiver. Jordan Davis. If you move Fletcher Cox, it makes all the sense in the world. Linebacker Devin Lloyd, who's probably the better cover linebacker in the draft. And then he probably fits the system for the Eagles a lot better. And then you get Chris Olave, who's a talented wide receiver, who has speed, can go up there and get the ball for sure. We missed out on Justin Jefferson. We got Chris Olave instead. Like it's huge. It's a huge win, especially for a team that's lacking in talent at the wide receiver group. Because if it's a fall off after Devontae Smith, I don't care how the Eagles view Quez Watkins. Watkins is definitely a wide receiver 3, but nothing more than that.
Yeah, I mean. I don't see how you can make much of a better. You can make the argument. If you like N'Kobe Dean more than Devin Lloyd, but hey, they got a linebacker in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That probably won't happen. Let's be honest. But if it does, like I don't know how. First of all, you traded back, you accumulated more picks. I think the trade back scenarios. I don't know if the Draft Network can do it. But I think they're probably looking at getting a higher pick next round as opposed to more picks this year. Like, get a, a 2023 second, to move back. But yeah, man, I like what didn't you get here? Edge rusher, you could have had George Karlaftis instead of Chris Olave, and then maybe got a second round guy, but then you're not getting Jalen Petrie. Like, I don't know. Boye Mafe was there with pick 22. I don't know that he was there at 38. I think he was gone by then. I can see. So Boye Mafe I really like Boye Mafe as well. He's kind of in a weird spot for the Eagles. Like, I think he's a top of the second round guy. Where'd he go? Oh, maybe he was available. Maybe I missed him. If he was still available, that's another great pick. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, like 4 corners in a row and 2 edge rushers went right before the Eagles pick. So, yeah. Yeah, but Boye Mafe was there, I guess. So that could have been a good pick as well.
We could definitely do this weekly because, this is how they're going to change.
Boye Mafe went to the Jets at 35.
35? And then, wow, I thought they traded that pick to us. Didn't they or no?
Who did we trade with?
They traded us 38.
Yeah, they traded us 53.
Bastards.
Kirby Joseph is another pretty good safety. I also like Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. There's a few good safeties. I feel like we got good value. Yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
That's I'm kind of just starstruck, man. I don't know. Like, I do like the Draft Network. I don't know about their predictive.
All right, so let's do PFN. I mean, we have 10 minutes left on our episode on the show. You guys want to do one more?
I don't have the.
You clicked on the wrong link. It was the top one.
My bad.
All good.
Okay,
right,
select
2 rounds again.
Yeah, I mean, it's already 9:52. Probably just 2 rounds. Next time we'll have to go more in depth, but all right.
Yeah.
Let's draft.
All right. Oh, Hamilton 4th. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I think the Jets want another safety like Jamal Adams.
Here we go.
All right.
No, I'm not trading with the Giants.
All right. Reject that off the bat. Can I reject
that? For it?
It's not letting me click on reject. Oh, maybe because I got to close this out first. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Okay, there we go. All right, so we got Evan Neal, Jordan Davis, Jameson Williams, Trevor Penning, Matt Corral, Zion Johnson, Chris Olave, Devin Lloyd. I think we're going to end up having the same draft. I mean, how do we not go Jordan Davis again?
Yeah, you definitely got to pick Davis. I love the kid.
All right. Anyone disagree? I feel like we made that decision last time, and it worked out for us. So, Jordan Davis. Okay, so we can trade down to 32 and get...
That's so far back.
I know, but we get the second pick in the second round.
What do you guys think? Are we making this trade with the Lions? Are we going back to the 32nd pick and then? All right. Yeah, Alex says nope. And caps, all caps.
Yeah,
all caps. All right. Now this one's gonna be tricky. Who do we have available?
Devin Lloyd. I think. How are we not just having the same draft over again? We got Jermaine Johnson.
Fear, yeah, exactly. You have Jermaine Johnson there. You have Devin Lloyd and Chris Olave are both ranked with each other. So, in the chat, guys, are we going linebacker or are we going wide receiver this time around?
I don't think my opinion. I feel like you go Devin Lloyd here again. But did the Eagles do that? I don't know.
Is Booth there? Yeah, he actually.
Yep.
Oh, Andrew Booth is there. Do we go corner this time around?
That's a good option too. We didn't get the run on corners like we did. Man, I feel like, too, if Derek Stingley drops to 11, the Eagles consider trading up. Derek Stingley in Washington would suck for us.
Oh, absolutely. We have 2 for Booth. We have Alex is saying linebacker again. Do we have any more?
All right. I feel like, we went Devin Lloyd last time. We could go with Andrew Booth this time. Yeah, let's go. I feel like let's do that. And let's see if we can get a linebacker with the 19th pick. We'll go BPA. That's what I say. You agree?
What are we doing?
We're going with Booth?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay, so we can move down again with the Dolphins. We want to do that. We get pick 50, which isn't fantastic, but
we get pick 29. Who's on the board?
You
have Chris Olave right there,
and Devin Lloyd.
You have Devin Lloyd, and Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
Do we go
with pick 29? You might get lucky and get Nakobe Dean. However, also Trent McDuffie's still on the board, so maybe we didn't need to go corner.
We probably didn't, but Andrew Booth is a stud.
It's true. So we could trade back. I feel like there's some value, and then we might be able to grab a second-round receiver.
But who are we trading back?
There's more offers. Oh, there are more offers. 3 trade offers. Okay, so we go to 40 and get 41 as well.
No.
We can go to 31, get 63, and a 7th round. Like, why do they even include that? I appreciate the the value, but I think
these offers.
The best option is the Dolphins, in my opinion.
But why? We have it's all right. You know what? You guys want to trade back? Yes or no? I'm trying not to be biased here because I really want Chris Olave.
Yeah.
So I need somebody in the chat to tell me: are we trading back or are we?
We could counter. So I also I don't know if it's gonna let me click on these. To be honest, I don't know why it's being weird, but
Philly Special says no.
All right. Yeah, I don't think I can accept it anyways. I don't know what this border is that's messing me up. I don't know if I have to click on something.
Yes, but I don't think we could click on it.
No, I don't know. Like you see the white border I'm seeing, right? Like there's no X to close it. So
all right, well, says hell no.
Perfect. So we're gonna go with
Olave
Devin Lloyd, of course,
Devin
right?
Lloyd. What do you
or
mean?
Jermaine Johnson.
This is so stressful. All right, guys. Are we doing defensive end? Are we doing linebacker? Or are we doing wide receiver? What are we doing? I know you guys are there because I think things are coming in a little late.
Yeah.
So we'll be patiently waiting. First one to say it gets the pick. What am I saying? I'm saying like Nakobe
LB.
Oh, Alex says LB. Do we have a second LB? Do we have a wide receiver? All right, we got Reddick in the house. Makes the deal.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. We've got Greg Ward. Do we need another receiver?
Well, yeah, for sure. Marquis says Olave.
All right.
Troy says Devin Lloyd. Bill says wide receivers. We have 2 linebackers. We have 2 wide receivers.
I don't know. I think we got 3. I think we got 3 linebackers. Alex, Philly Special, and Troy Gritz all said linebacker.
I don't count Philly Special because he had that Greg Ward comment.
I mean, it's a great point. It's something that I was overlooking.
It's a terrible point.
I was overlooking that, and he brings up a good or she brings up a good point.
I'm done with the Greg Ward stuff, and I'm so happy they didn't. So far, we signed Boston Scott.
Okay, well, let me propose you this then. I feel like you can get a better receiver in the second round than you can get a linebacker in the second round. That's what I would say.
Okay. So we're gonna do this. Let's take the risk. Let's go linebacker. But understand, what's before you click on anything, what is the likelihood that Eagles go full defense in the first round? If you're
I'd say 75%. I think that if they don't go offense or don't go offense at all, then they get a second round receiver. That's what I'm thinking.
That goes against, before you click anything, that goes against the point that Howie made of building around Jalen, of doing everything. You got to understand, what is the likelihood of this happening?
I think
Larry,
it's probably 75%. I think it's more than half.
all
They go all
defense?
defense. I think so.
I don't believe that. Unless you sign a big time wide receiver like Allen Robinson or someone,
Yeah.
somebody they give Juju his price, but uh,
I think the way
go
the
ahead.
draft fell to you, Jordan Davis is the right pick. Andrew Booth, I feel like you could, have an argument there. You can go receiver, you could go edge, you could have went Devin Lloyd. But Devin Lloyd at 19, I feel like you just take like whatever you picked before. If you can get Devin Lloyd at 19, you just take that pick. That's what I think.
Go ahead. Let's see
All
what
right.
happens in the second round. It's on you. It's on
All
you.
right.
I don't want to see
I'll
Chris
take
Olave
that.
get taken.
He's fallen, man. Oh, there he goes. Oh, to the Giants. That's got to be a
Wow.
heartbreaker.
That's on you. That is on you. Now Andrew Booth has it covered Chris Olave.
That's a heartbreaker.
I can't believe this.
I guess we could propose a trade to move back up. Well, Christian Watson's still there. Boye Mafe is still there.
We could have gone Boye Mafe.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay,
here we go.
we can trade back again.
No.
Well, we
No,
can. I don't know. Okay, Boye Mafe. That's the pick. Christian Watson, my friend, sitting right there. There you go.
That has to be the pick.
You could go George Pickens. You could go Jalen Petre again. You could go
You
Myjai
don't go
Sanders.
defense in the first 4 picks. This is Philadelphia, right? We're talking about.
Yeah, that's true. I like Jalen Tolbert. I don't think he's a second round pick. I think he's a day, I guess, a third round pick guy. Sky Moore looked really good at the combine. But I mean, I know who you want. I also like Romeo Dubs a lot. But I don't know if he's a second round guy again. Like that's what I'm talking about with the value.
The guy I want is in New York now because of you selected Devin Lloyd. It was all your fault.
I mean, Christian Watson's sitting right there. I feel like you just take Christian Watson. If you want a receiver, I feel like that's the way to go. But all I'm saying is look at this value, right? So even if you don't go here, even if you trade back, you got so many receivers that are decent. You don't need a wide receiver 1. You already have that. You can scroll down and still find some decent receiver. Calvin Austin, if you just want speed to replace Rager, you could probably get him in the maybe even on day 3. Anyway, all right. So it's Christian Watson. I'm rambling. Yeah, and there's George Pickens right there too. So we're going Watson.
Yeah, I mean he's electrifying, but going Watson, is it Rager all over again, or is this kind of for sure thing? I feel like I think Booth was a wild card. You could have gone linebacker. You could have gone wide receiver at that point. But you're assuming that the Eagles don't really do nothing with cornerback in free agency. You're assuming that the Eagles.
I mean, you look at that draft though.
Do something wide receiver.
You can't really complain with that. That's a pretty solid first 2 rounds.
But if you had taken Devin Lloyd at 16, we could have had Chris Olave at 19.
But then who do we get? Jalen Petre in the third, and then we have the exact same draft. We just did. We're trying to provide some variety. It's the spice of life.
Variety.
But yeah, I think that kind of shows you what I was kind of talking with second round receiver. I feel like there is a lot of value there. But yeah, that was fun, man. I like doing that. That was a good time.
That was pretty cool. We do have one last question in the chat before we say our picks and log off. Do you think Steven Nelson comes back for $5 to $7 million?
I think if that happens, it's after the draft. I think you see what you can get in the draft, and if you need to sign a veteran, you do. I think Xavier Rhodes is a real likelihood.
This man right here. Somebody pay Alex right here. Pay Alex big money right there.
All right. I mean, they're both good. I can't complain with either of those. If in reality, obviously it sucks that Chris Olave goes to the Giants, but what are the Giants going to do with him? He's going to be Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay and Chris Olave. Who's
don't disrespect Chris Olave like that comparing him to Kadarius Toney.
Well, it's just what's going on, and if he has to go to someone in the division, that's who I want him to go to is the Giants. If he's on the Cowboys, it's heartbreaking. But I think with both either of those things, if you're sitting there on draft day and you come away with those picks, I'm thrilled. Those are 2 very good drafts.
I agree with that. It seems likely more than ever with how things are falling in free agency. But before we log off, the Eagles still, free agency kicks off tomorrow officially, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Last time, I remember 2 years ago, before free agency kicked off on Wednesday, Eagles traded for Deshaun Jackson, and it was like the world was on fire all over again. What's your big move heading into free agency? Like, give me two big moves.
I think the surprise name to keep an eye on, and it might take some explanation, is Jarvis Landry. The Browns are going to cut him. I think that you're looking for a guy that can play the slot. That's like a solid receiver that you can move around, give a lot of routes to. He's a great route runner. He gives you some yak. The injury history is obviously concerning. But if he just got cut by, a team that looks like they're in shambles. Who knows what the Browns are doing? They, have so much talent. But I think that, he just got cut by the Browns. I think he's willing to take a bet on me contract. I think that if you can throw him, similar to what DJ Chark got, and get him on your team for a year, that immediately makes your team a lot better. That's a guy that, you're looking to see what Jalen Hurts has. He didn't really have that underneath target. Like, I get Dallas Goedert. He's a great target underneath, but how many of those simple in and out routes did he drop? I think he's more of an explosive playmaker. I think that's what you want him doing. So if you can get a guy, he's essentially, Jarvis Landry essentially like a Greg Ward light, right? Not Greg Ward, but anyways, I'm playing. But he's the guy that can do the same thing.
Point on here.
Well, but exactly. But
there's a timeout button. Hold on.
He does what Greg Ward does, but much better. Obviously, that's who he is at this point in his career. He can run all the routes you want him to run. He's got solid hands. He still has some yak ability. I feel like, you can get him. Exactly. That's his asking price, $15 million a year. Someone might be able to pay him that. But you're looking in the range of 10 to 15 for 1 year. If you can get him for a year and you feel like he can provide some value, I think that's a name to keep an eye on. I feel like that's a Howie move. Is bringing in a guy like that who kind of got thrown away by a team that he's been on. He's recruited so many players to that team too, right? Like, no one wanted to come to the Browns, and they got Jarvis Landry. He started recruiting all these players. I think that's a guy to keep a name on or an eye on. Sorry.
Okay. This is unlikely, very unlikely to happen. I'm putting this out there because Deshaun Watson is irritating the life out of me. Allen Robinson is a key move and I think that's a Howie move more than any move possible.
Reminds me of Alshon.
Yes, it doesn't have a big injury history. He's a guy that could go up there and get it. Also a guy that was forgotten in the Bears offense for some stupid reason. But bringing Allen Robinson to Philly reminds me of Allen Robinson's breakout year in Jacksonville, where they had Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns. They had a good duo out there. And Hurns was Devontae Smith-esque. You bring Allen Robinson here, and it's going to be a phenomenal looking, offensive set for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts can't do it. That's perfectly fine. You kick him to the curb next season. You draft, a better QB in a better draft class. If the Eagles will make playoffs this year, you're in a better position to make the move for a better QB. Allen Robinson has to be it. Like, if you're not going veteran safety, you go for Allen Robinson. You go all in. I don't care what he's asking for. He's well worth it. He wants to win. Eagles want to win. Devontae Smith is going to help the Eagles win. What's a better pairing than that? I mean, you go to New Orleans, you have, slot guy, whatever he wants to call himself, Michael Thomas, who he kind of fell off last year after coming back from injury. You don't know what their QB situation is going to be like if Deshaun's not traded there. You don't know when Deshaun's playing, which I don't agree with, suspending Calvin Ridley for a full year and suspending Deshaun Watson for 6 or 7 games. That's asinine to me. But I think Allen Robinson has to be the move. If it's not Juju, you go Allen Robinson. In my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I we got a comment in the chat about what Juju's asking price is, and I don't know. Obviously, there's no way we could know, but I feel like he's one of those players that's looking for guaranteed money. He's looking for this deal right here. That's what he's looking for. Well, exactly, right. And I think that one of those, and I mean, Allen Robinson very well could ask for more. He's worth more. He's a better receiver, but that's one of the reasons why, like Jarvis Landry, I don't think he's gonna come in going, hey, I want a 3-year, $80 million deal. I think he knows, he's a veteran. He's been around the league, that if he does well on a team like the Eagles, helps out a young quarterback, I think his value skyrockets. But I think you're absolutely right. If you can afford him, you go get Allen Robinson. The question is just the asking price, the price tag. And I think the Jaguars have set the market, and it's really interesting to see that happen. But it's kind of like a silent auction, right? It's like, it just happens, and that's why when you look at a deal like the Eagles gave or are going to give, I guess nothing's set in stone. Hassan Reddick, like that's a pretty good deal. I know he's not a receiver, but looks like a lot of teams are spending a bunch of money. So
I love the Reddick deal.
Well, and who knows?
I love
He probably gave him a hometown discount, but yeah. I don't know. That was a fun podcast, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We got a lot to talk about.
We're not doing this on our 4th season between the two of you, Jay Fizz and Morgan. Cut the Greg Ward stuff out. Leave it at the door when you come to this podcast. We're not doing this season.
I need more support on this.
No. We're not doing this season. This is our 4th season. We want to bring positivity to the podcast.
Okay, well, how about this? Who do you want catching punts on the 20-yard line more? Jalen Reagor or Greg Ward? Give me that. Give me that at least.
Christian Watson.
Okay, all right. If Christian Watson is returning punts, oh man, we're in a weird situation. But yeah, it's I didn't necessarily think he was going to get a deal, man. I thought they were going to let him walk, but I think what it is he's a great locker room presence. He's a great route runner. He'll do anything you ask for him. You need a receiver like that in house, and that's what he is. And
I'm not trying to knock who he is. I respect Greg Ward. The grind, the come up. But
3 catches for 2 touchdowns last year, like that's a high percentage, man. Like,
here's my thing. The issue with Philadelphia, and you guys can quote me on this. I don't give a damn. We overhype regular role players. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the Shake Miltons of the world. I'm tired of the Boston Scotts. I'm tired of the Greg Wards. I don't want inefficient players here. I want the best. I want guys that are going to be productive in the next 5 years.
Right.
Greg Ward's
like a Precious Achua, right? Like one of those guys.
We don't have a slap. Why does Schumer not have a slap button? I just want efficiency. I want the best for this team. I'm a diehard fan. I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can be. One thing real quick before you hang up. I'm hanging up. Wow. DK Metcalf is available. What better way for Howie Roseman to redeem himself to this fan base than to trade for DK Metcalf? Like, there's no better move in the world. Imagine finding out 4:01 p.m. tomorrow that DK Metcalf is an Eagle. That's me.
I don't know, man. I do want him. It's going to depend on the asking price, because I just worry.
It's a second or third.
Yeah, if it's second or third, I mean, why not, right? That's a first-round talent. You're not going to draft anyone better in the second or third round than DK Metcalf. But I worry how he meshes with Jalen Hurts, because with Russell Wilson would just throw out the ball and let DK go get it. That's one of the concerns we have about Jalen Hurts. But worst case scenario, you got DK Metcalf in house. You can give him a new contract and then draft a quarterback. So like, whatever, if you can get him for a second or a third, you take that at 9 times out of 10. So
absolutely, I completely agree with that.
We got to mention.
Sorry.
The tick pick. Man, this back and forth messes me up. I don't know.
Yeah. This podcast was brought to you by Tick Pick. Make sure you guys, for the upcoming Eagles games this season, use Tick Pick. Just no fees, regular pricing. You get great seats. We've used it. Chris has used it religiously. He's
I'm gonna use it for the Detroit game. Get to that Detroit game.
I used it for my don't kill me, guys. I used it for my Mets game last season when I went to Citi Field. got some good tickets for myself and my family. So definitely, guys, use that. We have our link in our description below. When you guys hit the hit the link. You're blessing us, and yeah, you're keeping us alive. We definitely want to keep, thank you all for coming on to the podcast today. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much. I'm exhausted.
It's been a long day for both of us,
man.
man.
Yeah. Got a new job, and I had seven meetings today. And I've been up since 6:30, and Morgan's been up since God knows when, 5 a.m. I think he said. But yeah, shout out to all you guys. Yeah, shout out to all you guys. Wow. Shout out to all you guys for joining us today.
I'm getting choked up, man.
In the chat. Yeah, 20 plus people in the chat. We will be alive every Tuesday between at 9 p.m. Going forward, we're back from our hiatus. You guys saw the new logo. We hope you guys love the new logo. And just check
out the Insta. I know that it's been hit and miss. We've been working on this new rebrand, but we're gonna be posting more prospects as well. We're taking suggestions. We're gonna pump those out as much as possible, getting close to the draft. So connect with us on Instagram. Connect with us on Twitter. We love answering back. So
absolutely.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys always.
And I need you guys to spam the life out of Morgan's Twitter, because I need Morgan's following to get up there, because it's very well deserved. Morgan has been busting his ass
not my Twitter, but Flippin the Birds Twitter. You can follow mine if you want to.
Yeah, no, they need to follow your Twitter, because you've been busting your ass with our Instagram, with our Twitter as well. We have big moves happening on the back end. We're probably gonna get some help on the back end with everything. But yeah, guys, thank you all for joining us on our 4th season. It's been a hell of a ride. Huge shout out to Liam for keeping us here. Huge shout out to you guys for voting us for Podcast of the Year for PSN last season, which was phenomenal. It's the second year in a row that we won it. And yeah, until next week, guys. We're back. So it's no getting rid of us now.
Go Birds, man. Oh, wait, you said go Birds.
Oh, well, no. You say go Birds. I say until next week, guys. I'm Bryan Cameron. He's Morgan Burkett. This is Flipping the Birds.
It's been a while. Go Birds.
Yes, sir.